In front of me here, I've created my ultimate bag for high handicap players. I've got drivers, fairway woods, hybrids, irons, wedges, putters, and I'm even going to talk about balls. But for now, let's get on with it and let's look at driver. Right, we're going to start with the big dog, it's drivers. Now for high handicappers, there's a few things I'd recommend thinking about, a few factors to consider when you're thinking about new driver. So we want something we can launch a little bit easily. Generally speaking, high handicaps might have a slower swing speed, so ease of launch is something you want to have. Guys who are not playing, or girls who are not playing an awful lot of golf, might miss the center of the face, so we need forgiveness across that face. A lot more high handicappers tend to miss the ball with a slice, so some of that flight correction technology can be really, really useful. So before I get to my winner, I've got a couple of honourable mentions, the first of which is this Mizuno ST Max driver. Now a big story around driver technology in 2024 was all about MOI, and this driver personifies that completely. What they've done is they've squashed the head down a little shallower so they can push some more mass sideways and backwards, which really increases that MOI number. And what else increases that MOI number is a massive 54-gram weight at the back of this, which really stabilizes the head. I don't always associate Mizuno with the game improvement market, but they've made some great strides there, and this is a really, really good driver to think about. My second honourable mention is the flagship product of the TaylorMade driver range this year, the QI10 Max. Now this is the driver the whole range was named after, the QI10 Quest for Inertia 10, and this is the driver that made it. So again, it's a very similar principle, squash down head, push more mass wide, fixed weight at the back to again increase that stability number. What I really liked about this was the improved aesthetic over Stealth 2. Much prefer the dark blue face, much prefer the rounder profile. My winner of my ultimate game improvement driver for 2024 for high handicappers is the Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke Max D. Now the tech behind it was the AI smart face. So Callaway took real data from thousands and thousands of players with different deliveries and different impacts, and the AI computer spat out a really efficient face, which does an incredible job. And not only does it do a really good job with correcting your off-center hits, it sounds and feels brilliant too. So the acoustic is a really nice kind of dull thud, really kind of nice muted dull hit there, and a real deep sensation impact. I love the feel of this driver. And what I love more about it is the fact that it's just so difficult to hit to the right. It launches so high, but the center of gravity and the work they've done with the internal weight on the head just makes it so easy for me to turn it over. And if you're someone who struggles with that big right miss, everything about this driver is screaming help to get it up in the air and help to turn it over. And as I said, when you see that, and you see that ball not wanting to go off to the right, you can really get some confidence and start releasing it down the line. You've got a really good solid driver, easy to hit, wrapped up in a beautiful package, and that's why it's my ultimate driver for high handicappers of 2024. On to fairway woods. Now fairway woods are a particularly interesting category for high handicappers because they need to do a lot of different things. For example, if you're a high handicapper who struggles with swing speed, you might end up with a lot of long second shots certainly into par fives, but even into par fours. So you're going to need it to perform well from the deck and be a really easy to launch club. If you happen to be a high handicapper who just struggles with driver, maybe dispersion a little bit, you might want it to perform well off the tee as a strong alternative that can keep you in play a little bit more. So we need it to do a lot of things. So without further ado, my first honourable mention is the Ping G430 Max. Now this is a beautiful looking fairway wood, extremely user friendly with a very shallow depth of face. So it's really easy to get under the ball and launch it. And like I said, very user friendly in that regard. We've got some good adjustability with the hosel so you can change the loft and face angle to suit your particular characteristics. And our fairway wood tester Sam Diaz really liked how this performed out the rough. He found it very easy to get out of some tricky lies. So that's something to think about too when selecting your fairway wood. My second honourable mention is the TaylorMade QI10 Max. Now what I love about this one is the large footprint. So again, similar to the driver, they've squashed it down, they've created a very shallow head, which again helps you launch the ball, but they've pushed that weight back and they've pushed the mass and the real estate to give you a really large footprint and really confidence inspiring down there at address. And with that MOI being so far back, it's super stable and super forgiving. So this is one of the straightest that I've seen. But that said, my winner in this category is the Cobra Dark Speed Max. Now this absolutely blew us away, the Cobra Dark Speed Max. In fact, the whole range was really, really impressive. Firstly, just the aesthetics, really stealthy. I love this whole blacked out look that actually translates to the head cover as well, one of the coolest head covers in the game. But from a performance point of view, this stacks up with anything else on the market and actually comes in a fraction cheaper than some of the major manufacturers, which is always a plus point. Now, again, performance-wise, we've got tons of adjustability here. We've got the adjustable hosel where we can change the loft and change the face angle. But not only that, we've got these additional weights on the sole where we can make it more or less draw bias, pull some more MOI back and change it about to really fine-tune the characteristics. Now, it's slightly deeper face than some of the others I've mentioned, so it doesn't necessarily look any more intimidating behind the ball, but I've picked this because I want it to do both things. I want to have a really good fairway wood option off the deck, and I want it to give me a little bit more off the tee as well. I love the feel of this off the face. Slightly more high pitch than some of the other things, but it's just a really solid feeling club, and all the numbers I get with this, it doesn't spin off the charts, but it gives you enough to make sure the ball is going to stay in the air. So all-round performance-wise, adjustability, looks and price, this is a brilliant fairway wood option, and that's why it's my choice. Okay, on to hybrids. Now hybrids are generally very, very important for high handicap players because as we start to go up the irons into the longer areas, they become more and more difficult to hit and more difficult to launch in the air. So hybrids are a really, really good long iron replacement for those who struggle with launch. Now, because of that, they're replacing irons. It's really important to think about how many hybrids you might want in your set and what those loft increments will be to match in not only with your irons, but blend you seamlessly through into your fairway woods. That's something to really consider. So without further ado, my first honourable mention is the Ping G430 hybrid. Now there's a lot to love about this. It's one of the most forgiving that I've tried, particularly on low strikes. When you hit it a little bit low on the face, a little bit thin, the spin retained really, really well, so it still launches nice and high. I find it very, very forgiving, this one. Adjustability, again, great. So we've got the adjustable hosel here, so you can fine tune your lofts and your distances and your face angles a bit to suit your specific requirements. A really, really strong hybrid from Ping. Now my second honourable mention, and I make no apologies for having another TaylorMade QI10 Max product. They've done a great job with this range, particularly for high handicappers. Love how easy this is to launch. It goes straight up in the air, plenty of spin on it, really, really user friendly. One of the other things I love about it is the alignment help. There's a little silver strip on the top edge, which contrasts really well because we've got a black face and a black crown. So having that little white strip makes it a little bit easier to line up. And like I said, incredibly easy to launch and one of the most user friendly on the market. But my favourite hybrid and my choice for the ultimate hybrid for high handicappers this year is the Wilson Dynapower. Now this is slept on, to coin a phrase. We don't think about Wilson much in this regard, but it's just such a wonderful hybrid for, again, a fraction of the price of some of the other major manufacturers. It's got a slightly deeper face, and for those of you who miss the ball right a little bit, having a little bit more offset, which this does have, gives you a little bit more time to get the face to square up and avoid that right hit. It's a little bit firmer than some, which some might like, some might not. I actually really enjoy how robust this feels. And again, like most of these other hybrids, incredibly easy to launch. I really like that in behind the ball. And when you hit it, like I said, it's a little bit tinny, a little bit firmer than most. I love that, it feels robust. Don't know if you picked that up, but that's straight up my nose, really easy to launch, and one of my favorite hybrids, hence why it is my ultimate hybrid for high handicappers of 2024. Irons. So there is no point having a brilliant driver, fairway wood, hybrid, if we do all those great shots and we get down here and we're duffing our iron shots down the fairway. So crucial for high handicap players to have the right irons. With that in mind, my first honourable mention is the Cleveland Zipcore XL. When I first pulled it out, I didn't know quite what to make of it because it really is very unique looking. Down behind the ball, heel to toe, it's so long, but I love that for confidence. It just feels like you've got so much face to play with. And when we're in the high handicap market, the more we can do to improve that confidence and give you the feel you're going to succeed, the better. The feel off the face is very, very robust, like I say. You just don't feel like you're going to miss the middle because there's just so much mass there for you. And I love the whole aesthetic. It takes a little bit of getting used to that heel to toe length, but when you do, it's really, really beneficial. Now, my second honourable mention is the Cobra Dark Speed iron. Now, these were one of the first game improvement irons I tried this year, and they blew me away. The first thing I loved was the really dark finish. So despite the fact it's quite an oversized head with a little bit of offset, because of that dark finish, it's a little bit slimming. It makes it feel a little bit more compact than it actually is, which is great. The reason maybe it didn't win is it's possibly a little bit niche. They're so strong in loft. So if you're someone who's struggling for distance and you need that power boost, then this might well be your choice because they are absolute rocket launchers. A little bit more high pitched in terms of the noise, but just so very, very powerful. Just such a strong forward flight. So if you're struggling for distance and you don't mind a more penetrating ball flight, this could very well be the choice for you. But my winner of the best iron for high handicappers of 2024 in my ultimate bag setup is the Ping G730. This was released a little bit later than those other two irons, so it was a bit late to the party, but what a great addition. Now, tech-wise, it's been heat treated, which increases the face flex and gives it a slightly lower CG, and it performs really well. It's really, really powerful, and I love the Ping Hydro Pearl finish. So even when you're playing in the rain or dewy conditions, this still spins and still launches really, really well. One of the other things I like about this, other than the feel and the lovely profile behind the ball, and I'll tell you that after I just tickle this one away, is I just love how it comes in 3 loft specs as well. Ping do their standard loft, their retro spec, which is a little bit weaker, so if you need a little bit more launch, you can get that, or their power spec, which is again de-lofted a bit, so you can really fine tune in your preferences. We've got a great look, we've got a lot of tech, and we've got a lot of options in this Ping G730, hence why it's my ultimate game improvement iron for high handicappers of 2024. So anyone who knows anything about golf will tell you so many of your shots, such a large proportion are played from within 100 yards of the green. So having the right wedges for your game is absolutely crucial. And one of the big growth markets in golf is game improvement wedges, where we're using cavity backs, perimeter weighting to make them more forgiving. And I pulled out one of my favorites here, so I've got 3 that I'm going to talk about. My first honourable mention is the Cobra SBX. First thing I love about this, it's got a really nice teardrop shaped sole, which really helps with turf interaction. A nice oversized head, and we've got these full face grooves, so everything about this screams you can hit it anywhere on the face and it's still going to perform. It's a really, really nice, friendly option in a wedge. So that wasn't a great strike, and that's still got out there nicely, gripped up nicely, and I've got a really good putt for par there. So my second option here, my second honourable mention, I've got the Cleveland CBX4. Now, this is it's got a really high performance groove in this. This is one of the spinnier wedges that we've tried. Again, a nice oversized offering, a really heavy cavity there. So on the fuller shots, this is really, really good. And I think sometimes we forget that. We're always picking wedges that are going to be good for the intricate shots around the green. But don't forget, we're going to hit a lot of fuller pitch shots with this. So this sort of heavy cavity really gives you that assurance that you're going to have a decent chance of getting the fuller shots close. That's a 52, so it's come out a bit lower. But again, nice little grab on the second bounce there. Really like the grooves of the Cleveland. But my winner in the game improvement or high handicap wedge category is the Callaway CB. Now, this has got a very, very oversized head, which gives me great confidence down behind the ball. And it's got a really nice thick sole, which I found in, whether it's a tight fairway, whether it's thick rough or in the bunker, it's a really, really versatile wedge that gets you through all sorts of situations. Now, one other thing that I've been banging on about all year is full face grooves. This has it again. So everything about this screams user friendly, and it just takes a bit of the stress out of the short game there. Again, as soon as I put that down behind the ball, it's like a nice chrome finish. There's a bit more gloss to it. It just looks forgiving. Again, I've hit that a little bit heavy, but the sole, the thickness of that sole helped it glide through the turf, and I've got really acceptable results. Arguably, I've not played any of those fantastically, and I've got really good looks to get those up and down. So that's why I love this Callaway wedge, really forgiving, versatile, and that's why it would be in my bag if I was a high handicapper this year. The putter. Now, what do we need in a putter for high handicappers? So if you're not playing an awful lot or you struggle on the greens, we want something that's easy to use. So something with a bit of forgiveness and a bit of stability is important, but also something that's very, very easy to line up is critical. So bearing that in mind, my first choice is the Teardrop TD5 putter. Now this is one of the most easy to align putters I've ever seen. We've got two bright white contrasting lines with a black finish, one coming off the flange to line the ball up with, and a corresponding one with a leading edge, which makes it very easy to put that leading edge square. It's a multi-material putter, which gives it a really interesting feel. And it's got what it's kind of a curved face with some grooves in, which really helps roll. So if you're someone who steps out of your putts and hits it a bit low on the face, you're going to get the ball rolling a bit quicker. So like I said, very easy to line up squarely to the hole. And even if you hit it a little bit high on the ball, you've got a nice option that gets it rolling aggressively towards the hole, and that's a really good putt. So that's a nice option for you. My second honourable mention is from Wilson, and it's the Infinite Bucktown. Now this will be a familiar shape to a lot of you. It's, dare I say it, that Odyssey Fang, Odyssey number 7 shape, but that's a wonderful shape. It gives us loads of MOI, loads of perimeter weighting. And there's a few things I really like about this putter. The finish, the matte black finish is really premium looking. It's one you need to be careful with and make sure you use your head cover, because they can chip a little bit these, but if you're someone who's careful with it, you can preserve this finish and it looks great. Now to contrast that with a very sort of dark matte black finish, we've got these bright white alignment aids, 3 of them on the top edge. So again, very easy to line up. One final thing, the grip is excellent on this. It's no taper, so it's the same thickness all the way down. So if you're someone who's a bit handsy on the putts or is prone to the odd, dare I say it, yip, this is a grip that can really help with that kind of stuff. It does feel a little bit firmer than some, but again, if that's a problem to you, you can counteract that with a softer ball, so that's no real issue. Exceptionally easy to line up. Like I said, a little bit firmer off the face. That was audibly a little bit more higher pitch, but I actually quite like the feel of that. But my winner in this category is a Cleveland putter, and it is the Cleveland HB Soft 2, and this is the Retrieve model. And the one thing I like about this model, if you're lazy like me and you play gimmies, or even if it goes in the hole actually, and you just want to pick your ball up, just jab it and you don't even have to bend down. So that's one for the real lazy people amongst you, which I like a lot. Now there is a bit of tech around this putter other than just being able to pick the ball up with it. It's got progressive face milling. So the milling gets a bit tighter in the center of the face and is a bit further spread when you come to the heel and the toe. So that increases the speed if you hit it off the heel and toe, which would generally reduce the speed. So that matches up and it will help you hit your distances a little bit easier. Now that deep milling helps it feel very, very soft as well, comfortable alignment aids. And yeah, like I said, with the name HB Soft, you'd expect a soft feel. If it's too soft for you, you can then afford to go for a more distance orientated, firmer ball. So you've got some options there as well. Love the alignment aids on this, love the feel. It's got a very premium grip as well, which I really like. And for that reason, and because of that lovely putt, that is my favorite putter in the ultimate bag for high handicappers. That's all the clubs done, but let's not forget about the golf ball. It's the one piece of equipment you use on every single shot. Now, as high handicappers, let's face it, you might be prone to losing more golf balls than lower handicap players, so price is often at the forefront of any purchasing decision when it comes to golf balls. So 3 of the favourite sort of price conscious balls that I've tested would be the Titleist True Feel. That's a really good all-round ball with good levels of spin, good levels of distance and very durable. Another one of my favourites is the Srixon AD 333. That's a bit firmer. I find I get a little bit more distance out of that. So if you're struggling for distance or using a very soft putter, as we discussed, that might be a nice ball to match up. And my final choice is the TaylorMade Speed Soft. Now there's loads of choices. They've gone big into visual technology. It's a really, really soft feeling ball, and you can do a lot to personalise it with different colours and all sorts. So really fun, very affordable, and a really good performing golf ball. Okay, so I hope you found that helpful, and I hope it's given you a good starting point if you are looking for some more clubs in the high handicap market. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and do subscribe to the channel. It really does help us. And get in those comments down below. If I've missed anything or you think there's something that everyone should be playing, let us know about it. We'd love to hear about it. See you next time.